There's no denying that Jeffrey Wright is hands down one of the best actors working today, from his side roles in such as The Batman to, of course, his incredible performance in Westworld. The guy just shows up in something and you know you're gonna get a fabulous performance. I remember back watching him during Catching Fire in that Hunger Games series. I was like, who is this guy? He's such a standout, and he continues to be a standout in every single thing he's in, and now he gets to lead American Fiction, which is not just one of the best films of 2023, it's also one of the most important films, but it also features Jeffrey Wright's best performance of his entire career yet. And it's a performance that absolutely should be a part of the top 5 best actors of this year. And I'm so excited to talk about American Fiction today. And I definitely can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. So make sure to leave your thoughts down below. Hit that like and subscribe button, because we're about to talk about a film that very much on the poster says a cinematic stick of dynamite, because that's exactly what this movie feels like. It feels like a dynamite ready to explode in the face of so many people who are exploiting black voices in entertainment genres such as movies, TV, documentaries, and books specifically. It's very much what the director and writer Cord Jefferson is tackling today, and after watching what he did in the writing department of the HBO show Watchmen, which I thought was just incredible, I'm very happy to see that he's now getting this writing directorial effort with American Fiction, which is about a novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from black entertainment and uses a pen name to write a book that propels him into the heart of hypocrisy and the madness he claims to disdain. Now, this movie I went into, I only saw the trailer. I also was attending a press conference which got to see Cord Jefferson talk about the film a lot, and it just got me more and more excited for the film, but I still didn't know what to exactly expect from this. And watching it, it really just feels like a kick in the face to so many different entertainment departments, and specifically the way that it does tackle and touch on black voices. And I really loved the whole story about a writer who writes these very thought-provoking things that no one reads. No one reads at all. But he decides to go out there and write under a fake name a novel that very much he says is soulless, but is something that so many people, such in different pieces of culture, will eat up. And it becomes his most famous book. And I love the way that it depicts it and brings it about. And I think what Cord Jefferson does as a writer-director here is very important, because he's tackling so many different themes, hard-hitting themes that in fact could make very many people emotional. But at the same point in time, he's not afraid to make you laugh. He's not afraid to make you feel uncomfortable. And from the very opening scene, you get the exact theme that they're going for in this film, and I found that Cord Jefferson's writing and directing in here was to be absolutely stellar. In fact, I'd have to look back at the entire year, but when it comes down to directorial debuts, this is easily one of my favorites, and probably my favorite of the year in that department, not top 2 at least. And like I already mentioned, Jeffrey Wright features his career best performance in American Fiction, but I also would go as far to say that the film only continues to elevate his position as an actor. This is just an absolute tour de force performance for someone like Jeffrey Wright, who always gives hand in hand the best performance in all the side roles, but he's never really gotten that time to shine in the front of everything. And I found in here what he's able to do as Monk is just incredible. His frustration, his anger, you severely feel what he is feeling, but at the same time, he's uprooted and his life is completely changed, because in a way there's 2 different stories taking place here for Monk. There's one that is all about his writing career and what's going on in that department and his frustration towards that. But also, Jefferson was not afraid to add an emotional layer on the back half of what's going on in his personal life, his family, his mother, who's dealing now with Alzheimer's, his siblings, his girlfriend. There's all these aspects that you learn about him. And I think some people might find it to be a little bit melodramatic. I'll talk about it when I get to my mixed aspects, but for me, did not feel that. I felt like there was enough there for you to understand him to a degree, and I really liked how Jefferson actually wrote in a lot of the emotional avenues, specifically on the back end of it all, where very much it's not afraid to tackle in little things here and there and touch on Monk's life. And whether it's things that like a character mentions something and then instantly you as an audience member go, oh, that's that, without anyone really saying anything immediately, and you as the audience are discovering it just as other characters are discovering it, and you really do feel like you are following around Monk in his entire life. And again, you feel for him, you feel for that frustration, that anger, which I think many people and many artists might feel in this same department as well. Alongside Tracy Ellis Ross, always great. Erica Alexander, I liked a lot. Wish there was a little bit more of her performance. I think Issa Rae and Sterling K. Brown are the two that really are the huge standouts of this entire movie, right alongside Jeffrey Wright. Just their little nuances that they add to his story are pretty important. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Leslie Uggams is also just fantastic. Expect all that, and I think for me, American Fiction is just like it said, a kick in the face, a stick of dynamite to cinema, and I think it's all because of the way that it details and touches on the exploitation of black voices, which I personally cannot attest to all too much, but speaking with friends and speaking with others in the community and being able to talk with that about American Fiction and how important it is, I'm very excited to see other people who are able to talk and raise more into that department. Alongside that, what I really love is that American Fiction also is absolutely hilarious. It's a film that is very much a satire to so many things, and like I mentioned, as strict as it can get into the emotional department, it's never afraid to not make you laugh. And some of the jokes in here and some of the verbiage and everything that they use is not things that you would ever really see in films. And I can see a lot of people having issues with certain things like that. Again, Jefferson is not afraid to shy away from some of those different elements that earlier films, I feel like in the 2000s, would say. Same point in time, the film is so poignant with its themes and thematics when it comes down to the exploitation that I found it to just be great. I mean, the film is so creative, and to not get into spoilers, but there's certain times where you see Jeffrey Wright's character writing something and two characters populate, and you kind of see what's going on in his head. And alongside, when it gets down to the ending of the movie, you actually feel that the most. And I actually found that the ending of the film kind of knits and tightens it all up, all together into what's so important about this. And some people might find that the themes and thematics are a little bit too much in your face, but I think because it's absolutely roaringly entertaining and hilarious at times, there's no denying that all these moments are so important to those that it never, for me, truly felt like it was getting in the way. But I guess if we're talking about my mixed aspects, I can see some people feeling that way. I can see, it's going to work for different aspects for others, where some people might be like, oh, this is a little bit too abrasive or too upfront in our face. But I think films like this should establish that. Personally, for me, the only thing that I could find mixed is maybe the film should have been a little bit longer, especially when it comes down to the family department, or maybe X'd out one or two things from the family to really elevate this a little bit more. The Alzheimer's issue never felt like it was actually something affecting him, and I feel like so many people touch on that, and I understand the film already had so many different thematics to touch on, and this just felt like one other issue that was in front of him that he had to face. But I found that there should have been more development with that and more touches into that aspect, and especially in his family. There is a little bit of surface level stuff. Some people might be fine with how it was. Other people might absolutely hate how surface level it was. For me, I found it was just the right amount, but I think it could have gone a little bit further. Alongside that, while I said the film could have been longer, I think it would have helped for some of the flow of the pacing. That's really my only issue with the movie, is that while it feels like an hour and 57, it does feel a tad bit longer than that. Don't ask me how, maybe adding more scenes would have helped that. I've seen longer films that felt way shorter than this. But overall, I think for me, it just loses a little bit of steam in the middle of the film, but I found that what Cord Jefferson did here was great. That's why I say American Fiction is a glorious satire that isn't afraid to fill its story with layered out laughs while detailing the exploitation of black voices. It's sharp, tight, and one of the best films in 2023. Jefferson's direction is impressive, and Jeffrey Wright gives his best performance yet of his career. So with all that said, I'm going to give American Fiction an A-. Thank you so much again, guys, for watching this. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Comment down below your guys' thoughts. And, of course, until next time, stay classy.